Yeah, let's talk about Judge Robert Cline in the court. So you have proof of that Judge Robert Cline has no oath or bonds. Can you show that?
Like, I asked for oaths of offices all over the place. This guy, Michael Pacavar, I looked every place we keep oaths of offices, and there is not one for Judge Cline.
Welcome back to another episode of Excursions with Dillon Pastors. Today's episode is not just another testimony, it's a challenge. A challenge to a system that has operated far too long in the shadows. A system that twists justice, silences truth, and violates the very Constitution it swore to uphold. My guest, Tyler Guthrie, has returned with more documents, more evidence, and more resolve. He's not just another voice crying out against injustice. He's the living man and trustee of his own lawfully established trust. And he's calling out Lawrence County, Indiana, and specifically Judge Robert Cline. Judge Cline, this is a public and lawful demand. Where's your oath of office? Where's your bond? Where's the proof that you operate with the lawful jurisdiction and authority under the Constitution of Indiana and the laws of the United States? Tyler Guthrie has submitted over 40 filings, affidavits, notices of dishonor, motions, appeals, and trust enforcement documents, all ignored. He's been unlawfully imprisoned, retaliated against, lied to, threatened, and yet he stands in truth, backed by law, trust, and God. So today, we're pulling back the curtain. We're reading receipts. We're bringing the light. Because if a judge can sit on the bench without a valid oath, then what kind of court is that? And if the courts can ignore constitutional filings from the people, then what kind of country are we really living in? This isn't just about Tyler. This is about you, your family, your children. Because if they can do it to one man, they can do it to anyone. Judge Cline, if you're watching, if you're listening, we respectfully demand, prove your authority or step down. The people are waking up, and the days of blind obedience are over. Stay tuned, for what you are about to hear could shake the foundations. Here is Tyler Guthrie. All right, guys, today I have Tyler Guthrie. He's back again. Tyler, the last time you came on the podcast, you shared your testimony, just what you're dealing with in life and, how you know Jesus and all that stuff. But today we're here for a different reason, including to your civil rights violations and everything you're dealing with Judge Cline not having an oath of office, all types of stuff like that. So can you take us in and explain what it means to be the trustee of your own foreign irrevocable trust?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. So I guess let's break it down into real world terms. Most people walk through life not realizing that when they were born, a legal entity was created using their all capital name. It's called a straw man or a corporate fiction. The name is in all capitals, so anytime you get something with your ID or anything on it, it's in all capitals. And that's not you. That's not you at all. That's a trust created in your name. So when I say I'm the trustee of a foreign, irrevocable trust, what I've done is lawfully removed myself as a living man. So I'm a living man, Tyler Guthrie. I've removed myself. So from the jurisdiction of the corporate system, I said, I formatted a trust under common law and natural law outside of the U.S. federal jurisdiction. It's foreign because not in another country sense, but every state is their own country. So I don't exist under the U.S. statutory law. It's private. Once the trust is formed and perfected through filings as the UCC-1 financing statement, as trustee, you manage the estate. So now I have full control over the state, and I'm not treated as property of the state. The trust owns the legal name, the birth certificate, and any attached value. So, I control it, Not the courts can never control it now, as which they do if you're not the trustee. So that means that when I step into a courtroom, I'm not there as the defendant. I'm there as the trustee, and I'm only there to settle the matter. I can't be held liable for the trust liabilities. We're treated as a party to the case unless they consent, unless I consent, which I'm not consenting. That's jurisdictional power of trust law. So yeah, that's a kind of a layman's term of it.
So, what does not a federal citizen mean in legal and spiritual terms?
Well, in legal terms, being a federal citizen means that you're a U.S. citizen under the 14th Amendment, which is, the 13th Amendment freed the slaves. The 14th Amendment enslaved us all. That citizenship was created after the Civil War, essentially redefining the Americans' people uh, as subjects of Washington, D.C., the 10 square miles of Washington, D.C. So that's a federal municipal corporation. This isn't just a theory. It's codified in 28 U.S.C. subsection 302 or 3002. I think it's 15A maybe, which literally defines the United States as a federal corporation.
What does it mean? What do you mean it enslaved us?
Well, we were born free Americans. We were literally born free, and they take us and make us the 14th Amendment corporation, which makes you a subject to federal jurisdiction, statutory laws, taxation, military style enforcement, these courts. None of these, even when you're driving, these statutes and codes and driving violations don't amount to the man. They amount to the 14th Amendment corporation. So we don't operate under that, and I don't operate under that as a trustee now. So everybody needs to take their name, create a trust, it's an irrevocable trust, and separate yourself from that all capital entity, and it'll move you out of their jurisdiction. And like I said, I don't operate under their fiction. I don't accept their jurisdiction. I serve God and God only, not the U.S. corporation. And spiritually, this means I've aligned myself with natural law. God said that we have three things that we can't do in the Bible, and that's you can't kill nobody, you can't steal from nobody, and you can't swindle nobody or lie to nobody. If I'm not doing those three things, then I am not breaking any law. Um, that's the law of creation. I'm not a product of the system. I'm a creation of the Most High. That's who I answer to. Not a judge, not a prosecutor, not a corporate court. None of that. So that's what it means spiritually and legally.
Why is jurisdiction everything, and how do you revoke it from these courts?
It's a good question. It's a real good question. Jurisdiction's everything. It's everything in court anyway. It determines who has authority, which laws apply, um, whether anything that the court does is even valid at all. If the court doesn't have jurisdiction over the person or the subject matter, because they have to have personal, subject, and subject matter jurisdiction, they have to have all three of them to have jurisdiction. And if they don't, then anything that they do is void. So it's like it legally never happened, but they ignore you. What most people don't know is that the courts operate on an assumed presumption jurisdiction. So they assume you're the U.S. citizen, the 14th Amendment corporation. They assume that you're the name on the charging document. They assume that you consented by showing up. So when you show up in court, you're saying, hey, I'm the 14th Amendment corporation. I'm that little entity, when you're actually not, but you don't know that you're not. So assumptions aren't facts. And if you don't rebut the assumptions, rebut saying that you're not that person, you're not these charges, then they move forward with full power. So I always revoke their jurisdiction by doing a couple key things. One, I always file a special appearance, never a general appearance. I do not consent to their authority, and I'm here as trustee to settle the matter, and that's all. I file a declaration of status, making it clear that I am the living man. I'm not the 14th Amendment corporation. I invoke trust jurisdiction, which is declaring that any property, liability, or obligations that they're trying to attach to me belong to the trust and not me. And that's why I filed a UCC1 financing statement that has everybody in it that is trying to charge me with charges, or the court or the judge or the prosecutor. I'm letting them know that I'm the secured party. I'm not the trust. I'm not the trust, or I'm not the debtor. I don't owe you guys anything. I am above you. See, God made man, man made government.
Mm.
So we answer to God, government answers to us. We don't answer to the government. We give the government full power. People don't realize that. They think, oh, the government, we're scared of them. No. God made man. Man made government. Government can never tell man what to do. They can tell the 14th Amendment what to do, but they can't tell man what to do. So if
That's
they
why.
go
So
ahead.
is that why it's good for, like, let's say you're a felon, right? And you want to
Yeah.
go get an apartment, but you can't get an apartment because you got a felony. But if you get a trust and you have a business, you could get an apartment because you're going to get an EIN number or whatever, right? And that's like a social security number,
Just
and that
like it.
can get you. So it's the same thing.
Here's the thing is you have to revoke your license. We don't need a license. We don't need a insurance. Um, we don't need our so if you get a hold of vital records, right, in your state, and there's a difference between a birth certificate and a certificate of live birth. Okay, the birth certificate's the all capital name. But if you go get your certificate of live birth that have your feet and handprints as a baby on it, it's in capital T, lowercase y, ler. So it's uppercase, lowercase, the rest of your name. That is actually you. That's not the 14th Amendment corporation. For you to be a U.S. citizen, you got to be born in this 10 square miles of D.C. You know
Mm.
what was born in the 10 square miles of D.C.? Your birth certificate a month after you were born. So if you look at your birth certificate, like mine, I was born in June. My birth certificate was born in July. That's what makes you that all capital person. Your parents basically uh, signed your rights and your ownership over to the state. You're a ward of the state by accepting the birth certificate.
Mm.
But you have to revocate your license. You have to revocate your, like, if you've signed up to vote, you got to revocate that. You got to revocate anything that has that all capital name tied to it, and let them know that I'm not that name and I will not be presumed as that name.
So
And
there you
that's
go. So
that's I mean that's
if you're a felon, that's how you escape all that.
oh
You
yeah,
can
yeah,
start over.
yeah.
The same
You're
thing
not a
with the
felon.
credit.
You're not a felon unless you hurt anybody. That's another
Right.
thing.
Well,
If you
I've
didn't
hurt
hurt
somebody.
nobody, or steal from nobody, or lie to nobody, if there's not a real injured human being on your case that brought the case against you, then there is no case. The state of Indiana cannot bring a case against you. It's illegal. And if they do you know who has original jurisdiction? The Supreme Court. So if it has the state of Indiana versus you, it should be in the Supreme Court. It should never be you versus the state of Indiana in court, where the judge is the state of Indiana, the prosecutors the state of Indiana, the cops are the state of Indiana, the attorneys are the state of Indiana. They give you an attorney because the attorney works for the court. If you look under jurisprudence, it's a big, long set of books in jurisprudence, American jurisprudence. It tells you that it don't matter if it's your lawyer or if it's one you hire or if it's one they give you, their first obligations to the court. Plain and simple. They don't.
So
They get paid when you get you either are convicted or you take a plea. They get paid. So the judge gets 50% of every court case. The prosecuting attorney gets 25%. So that leaves 75% or 25% left. Your lawyer gets 15%, and the other 10% gets split between everybody else in the courtroom, between the bailiff, the court reporter, the clerk of court. all the rest gets split because they create bonds. They create a bid bond, an appearance bond, and a performance bond in your name. And the judge says, I'm the beneficiary. When you're actually the beneficiary and trustee of your estate.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about Judge Robert Cline in the court.
Ooh, he's a crook. He's actually impersonating a public official. He's not even a real public official.
So you have proof of that Judge Robert Cline has no oath or bonds. Can you show that?
I do. So let me see here. So I'm plugged in. I mean, plugged in with the election division up there. I mean, you look. I asked for oaths of offices all over the place. But this guy Michael, what is Michael's last name? Michael Kokovar is his name, and so I've got proof right here. I asked him, I said, hey, brother, I'm needing oath of offices for some government employees again. I need the oath of office of Judge Robert Cline out of Bedford, Indiana. I also need Judge John Plummer III out of Bedford, Indiana. Could you please get me them? Appreciate you. He said, hey, Tyler, my name it's Matthew.
Can you show it where we can see it?
Yeah.
Just hold it in front of you like that.
Attached, it's the highlighted. So it says attached is the oath of office for Judge Plummer. I looked every place we keep oaths of offices, and there is not one for Judge Cline. See it? Okay,
it's hard to see it.
That's on March 19th. I can send you these. You can post them or whatever after. But March 19th, that was 3 days after I got pulled over and illegally arrested for an OWI when I was not high on anything, no drugs, nothing, which is the video that you've seen. Okay, so I was thrown in jail, arrested. I got arrested for recording in court, which is my First Amendment right to record any public official ever. And I got arrested for it and thrown in jail for 7 days. So I submitted a public records request to these guys, right? The Secretary of State. And they pronounced and presumed that he doesn't have one. And it's not even optional. It's not optional. The judge has to have one. Under Indiana Code subsection 5-4-1, every public official is required to take an oath and post a surety bond or equivalent to protect the public from misuse of power. So at the federal level, 5 USC subsection 3331, I think, and 3333 mandate the same exact thing, that if you want to that has to be exercised under the authority of the United States. So here's what an oath of office is. An oath of office says, I take this oath and I will protect your constitutionally protected 14th Amendment rights. Okay? But if I don't, I have a surety bond here, just like insurance or just like car insurance. If I hurt you or I break these rights or I violate you, you can go hit this bond for some money. They won't even let me know who the bonding information is. So everything that he's ever done from the bench is void ab initio. Meaning
that means everybody that has been sentenced under him or whatever is void.
Everybody in prison.
You can send me the proof of that, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I got multiple proofs, and I got all the oaths of offices that they've actually sent me. He sent me 9 different oaths of offices, but he can't find Judge Cline's. So, like I said, it's as if it never happened. And this is a very serious crime. This is treason. And it says in our Constitution, for treason, you need to hang them from a light pole at noon. And, even... Go ahead. The legal consequences
I was kind of looking it up just online. It says Judge Robert Cline recused himself from Jessica Stagg's case and requested a special judge. I don't know why. I don't even know who that is or what that is about, but I was just
Well,
trying
it was probably conflict of interest.
to. Let me see. So, what are the legal consequences of a judge acting on a bench without an oath?
Well, as I said, it's him impersonating a public official. Every signature is meaningless. Every warrant is invalid, um, which is a criminal offense. Or impersonating a public official. It's a criminal
So,
offense.
these people should be suing.
These people should be sitting in jail for what they're doing.
No, I'm saying the people though that have been dealt with under him should be suing these people. Should be
Oh yeah,
appealing their cases.
Everybody should have a writ of quo warranto put out, which will open the case back up. And yeah, you should sue them. You sue them under 18 USC subsection 241 and 242, which is deprivation of rights under color of law. It deals with conspiracy and the deprivation of rights. So, like in terms of a financial liability, a judge who acts without an oath of office or bond becomes personally liable. So they they say these judges have immunity from suits. Well, you have immunity as long as you're acting in the scope of your work. But when you're a pup, when you are causing harm and you're not even a real public official, that means there's no judicial immunity. That means no state protection. That means you're getting it in the booty with baby powder. You know what I mean? So it's not good.
How has he retaliated against you or others who challenge his authority?
Oh man. It's a good question. The retaliation has been direct. It's been undeniable. When I first began asserting my rights, filing lawful notices, appearing in my proper status, and invoking trust jurisdiction, Judge Cline ignored the law. He issued warrants for my arrest. He's claimed I've failed to appear, even though no valid court date was listed on the original summons. That's fraud. Um, you can't skip a court that when there wasn't a date and time given to you. And later, like I said, I tried to record in court for one of my hearings, and he threw me in jail. Threw me in jail and had me held for contempt. Which that right there just threw me in a cage for recording. That right there put my life, my liberty, my justice, everything out the door. That's tyranny. And it says in our Constitution that if there is a tyrant government, we have the ability to overthrow a tyrant government. So, like, he's also refused processing my filings. There's been over 40 documents, affidavits, notices, demands, defaults, trust enforcement paperwork. And they were all ignored. They weren't docketed. It's a denial of due process. Due process is a big thing in judicial ethics, And let's not forget that it's not just about me. I have seen others who challenged him be railroaded as well. So he uses intimidation, silence, procedural fraud to maintain control.
So, for court filings and commercial remedy, how does a UCC-1 financing statement give you power in court?
That, let's see, I would say, I mean, here's what I would say. It is the most powerful thing you could ever do as an American. I say it establishes legal claim as a secured party of your estate. Right now, they have you as the debtor, which when you're in debt, you usually owe something, right? So it's like a lien on your own name. The court, uh, the court is put on notice. Trespassing on my estate means violating a perfected security interest. In commercial law, first in time, first in right, I'm first. So if you're first in time, first in line, anytime there's a claim against your estate, you are the one that needs to get paid. With me putting that on, it puts me first in line, first in time to get paid every time they try to bring a case against me. So it's important. I mean, it's one of the most important things anybody could ever do. And you need to do it. You need to do it on your state level. So your state's, you send it to your state Secretary of State. and you need to send it to the New York Department of State, because that's where commerce starts. Commerce starts on Wall Street. No matter who you are, it always starts on Wall Street. So you have to send it there too. It's like $45 to file, both places.
What is your fee schedule and who owes you what?
My fee
Can you show
schedule
your fee
is,
schedule? Can you show that or no?
yeah, I could. Yeah, I can
Just
show
to
it.
give
I got it
people
right
an
here.
idea of what it is.
So, my fee schedule.
This is
This
important,
is a fee
guys.
schedule. Let me just do this. Actually, I'll do it like this. So, a fee schedule right here. It's stating that
Back it
I
up a
am
little bit.
this lower.
Yeah, there you go.
Good.
Yep.
Okay, I'm the lowercase name. None of these capital names or any derivatives. Okay, it's notarized. And it's hefty. For you to say my name, it's $50,000. For you to ask for my driver's license, it's $50,000. For you to take any of my DNA, whether it's a mouth swab, blood sample, urine sample, breathalyzer, hair sample, skin sample, clothing samples, it's $5 million per thing. To give me a citation, it's $60,000. You just keep going through here. Anything fraud's $1 million. Fraud upon the court's $2 million, and that's per instance. Um, just flip through here and just show you. It's an 8-page document, and it's one of the most important things that anybody could ever have. And here's the thing about mine is that whenever I have 3 different federal lawsuits. One of them is for $129 million against Lawrence County and Judge Cline. I have one for $38 million against Orange County, and I have a $15 million one going into the appeals court, which I appealed this case, and now I'm in appeals court, but they're trying to railroad me too. So I'm going to put them on notice and sue their asses, sue their butts for 15 million. So got a total of like almost $200 million in
How do
lawsuits.
you calculate the 15 million in damages?
Well, it's all about my fee schedule. When they violate my fee schedule, so they give me a breathalyzer, that's $5 million. Whether I passed it or failed it, it's $5 million. To say my name, to ask for my ID, you're taking a million five there. So this is all put on.
How do you
This
get
was
them to
all
go
put on
about this
notice.
stuff? How do you
You have
get
to
them to
put
be
it
legit
on
about
the.
it?
Well, it's hard. To be honest, it's hard. But I have a private security agreement also, which is what everyone should have, because what it says in there is what goes. Because you are a private individual. You're a private man acting in your private capacity. So you're not you're not the corporate entity. So you have to have your UCC1, you have to have your fee schedule, you have to have your trust documents, and you have to have your private security agreement to separate yourself from that all capital entity.
Wow. Walk us through how they ignored over 40 filings in your Lawrence County case.
Oh man, just one after. I mean, I would file. You know, they ignored the very first filing I put in. I put a notice of special appearance in and challenge of jurisdiction. And like I said, I walked into court to challenge it. As soon as I had my recording out, they slapped me down, threw me in handcuffs, threw me in jail. Even though I was challenging jurisdiction, I was there on special appearance only and not generally by giving them jurisdiction. So from the start, they were ignoring everything. So I filed affidavits, notices, trust documents. I filed demands. Some of them weren't even docketed. Some were returned. Even in like the federal court or in the appeals court, I sent them a USB drive right here that had the March 16th traffic stop video on it, and they tried to say it was from June 3rd and sent it back. So
How can
every
they say
court
that?
that I've messed with, they can't. They can if you don't know how to go about enforcing it, but I know how to enforce it and put them in default and then file federal lawsuits. That's why I have 3 federal lawsuits right now, because they went in default. I've given them an opportunity to cure it, which they didn't. They ignored it, thinking I was just playing around, and I smacked them with a lawsuit. So you got to learn to file federal lawsuits. Take it to the feds. Take it to the feds.
And you're in process of your
So they're
federal
silent.
lawsuits right now.
Anytime they're silent and ignore you, it's them agreeing. Because if you put an affidavit in, any unrebutted affidavit stands in truth and commerce. So, say you file an affidavit saying that you're the private American, you're not the U.S. citizen, the 14th Amendment corporation, and they don't rebut it line by line, and yay or nay or answer to it, it stands in truth. So then you know that stands. So when you get in federal court and you start smacking down these affidavits that they didn't rebut, they're all going to stand in truth. It's a
That's
nasty system. It is nasty, and it's all about money. It's all about bonds they create in your name,
yeah,
and put them in their retirement at the end of the year.
yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of tripping about my stuff too, because I mean, you know,
Yeah, you're the
I,
same type of system. Railroad.
yeah, I know, and that I don't know if they're ignoring me or what, but I don't know.
They're
I
going to
won't know
try.
until
They're going to
tomorrow,
try.
and I
You're just
call
going to have
them.
to put them in default.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. We'll see how it goes. What is
And I mean,
what is commercial default, and how does it apply to your court proceedings?
so when someone fails to respond to a lawful notice that you give them, they're in default in commerce. Uh, I gave courts 10 days, maximum 10 days to respond, and they didn't. That means that my notice stands as truth. So whatever I said in that notice or whatever I put them on notice about, it stands in truth. So under UCC, which is the Universal Commercial Code, this creates a binding record, and I've turned their dishonor into an enforcement debt. So, with them being in dishonor, I'm smacking moneyed lawsuits, financial lawsuits on them.
That's probably why they haven't even put my stuff in yet, because remember I put the 7 days to respond. They probably haven't docketed on there
Yeah,
yet because of that. But
yeah, and then as soon as those 7 days are up, they're in default,
no matter what,
no matter what. You had a fight. They had a legal, lawful
obligation.
responsibility when you put
Yeah,
notice to obligation to respond.
why do you say these
If they
courts are
ignore,
operating in?
ignoring is consented to fraud. So if when they ignore you, it's basically saying I'm a fraud.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, because if they're ignoring you, they're ignoring you because they know they're wrong. They're ignoring you because they know that there's something going on. But
Yeah,
how do we
you're
stand
exactly
up
right.
against that and continue to fight that through federal court? That's the only chance that we have.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could push it, to the Supreme Court, and as I found out, the Supreme Court, it covers their asses too. So you got to take it to the feds. I mean, that's all there is to it. When these courts are operating in fraud, they are concealing the truth, ignoring the law, and profiting off of people's ignorance. So without, we've been indoctrinated in our lives. There's a reason they don't teach you the Declaration of Independence in school. There's a reason they don't teach you the Articles of Confederation in school. There's a reason they don't teach you the UCC codes in school. They don't want you. They want you to stay as a slave. They want you to be a slave. So, yeah, I mean, most of these courts are operating in fraud. They're completely fraudulent courts. Every state court is a fraudulent court. They're not a real court. They don't ever give you, if you have a felony, you're supposed to have a grand jury indictment. Every felony is supposed to have a grand jury indictment with it. Never do you ever see that. Never, unless it's a felony that somebody's hurt somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
How does
Crazy.
your faith as a man of God guide your actions through this legal battle?
I'm standing on God's law, baby. I'm literally standing on God's law. This is God's law, it guides me in everything I do. I believe in a higher power, God's law. It's a spiritual warfare. If you ask me, it's a spiritual war,
Yeah,
as much as it's a legal one. I mean,
it
it's a
is.
very demonic thing inside of a courtroom. I
So
file every
obviously,
document in my faith.
go ahead, finish.
I said I file all my documents in my faith. I trust in my faith. So I'm not fighting this alone. God is walking with me through every step of the way.
So obviously, the system is spiritually compromised, and why do you believe that?
Courts have become places of fear and money, not justice. They serve mammon and not truth. They retaliate against those who speak the truth and speak out against them. That's spiritual corruption. But light always exposes darkness, and that's how it's always been. And that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm exposing the fraud. I'm exposing the darkness. I'm exposing the liars. I'm exposing every bit of it. That's why I'm here with you.
Why should the average person care about court oaths, bonds, and UCC law?
Hmm. Um, I would say because it affects everyone. Every court case involves hidden bonds and commerce that these judges, without oaths of offices, are impersonating officials or impersonating public officials. Um, they don't control your legal name. They act like they do, but they don't, and they never will unless you let them. So learning the UCC codes, and trust law, it helps you reclaim and regain the power for you to say no more. I'm not doing this no more. I will never step foot back in a courtroom again. Unless somebody that's a human being brings a case against me, I ain't stepping back in one of these courtrooms again. You have no jurisdiction over me. Just like putting plates, we can put private. We don't need plates. We don't need insurance. We don't need driver's license to drive, unless you're driving for money. If you're driving for money, like an Uber or a UPS guy or a taxi driver, if you drive a whip for money, then you have to have a commercial license. If you ever get a ticket, you look on there and it says license type, it will say COMM, telling you that they have you under a commercial driver, even though you're not. You're a private man in my private automobile, and there's a difference between an automobile and a vehicle.
So
Automobile is what private men drive.
should I do a special appearance for my court date on August 14th, or should I just not show up?
You need to get your trust done. You need to go ahead and create your trust. Yep. You can have that done in a day or two, especially with ChatGDP today. I can help you do
Yeah,
it or whatever.
but what I'm saying is that if I don't show up, they're gonna obviously give me a failure to
Yeah.
appear.
You
But
need to specially appear as the trustee. You need to specially appear as the trustee
or I just don't
to
show up and
discharge
I
the matter.
just file my paperwork in, right?
Yeah, court's all about paperwork anyway. It's
Yeah,
all
I
about the
know.
paperwork. Paperwork can talk. You don't need to talk.
Well, they're illegally gonna if they put that warrant out on me, it's illegal.
It's not legal. It's illegal warrant. If
But I
every
filed the
warrant has
motion.
to be signed by a neutral judge.
I filed
Huh?
the motion and they responded, and now I'm not gonna show up to it.
Well, here's the thing. If they put a warrant out, it has to be a wedding signature. It has to be with a witness, and it has to be by a neutral judge. So the judge that is your judge can't put the warrant out for you. Warrant has to come from a neutral judge, and it
Well,
never happens. That
I
never
put in a
happens.
notice of non-appearance. So I mean, I don't know if that matters or not, but we'll see.
It does matter. You're letting them know that you don't have jurisdiction over me, and I'm not stepping foot in your court, giving you jurisdiction.
Yeah, that's right.
Remember
You're
how we
right.
said jurisdiction's everything?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
That was the document, notice of non-appearance to challenge jurisdiction.
Yeah. And they have to put it on the record that they got jurisdiction, or I ain't stepping foot in your court.
Well, when I
They
called
can't,
today,
can't prove jurisdiction.
when I called today, I know they signed for the documents, but they're trying to say they didn't get them. They're saying they don't have them right now. They're not
Fraud.
there yet.
That's what they do.
But they already signed it.
It's what they do.
They already signed off for it. But I'm going to call tomorrow and give
That
it
is
to them.
why we always send our stuff certified mail with a return receipt, so we have proof.
Yeah, they can't say they didn't
Because if
get
you
it.
wouldn't have sent those certified mail with the return receipt,
It would have
you've been
been
fucked.
disappeared. Yeah, I don't
You'd have been
think the
gone.
ladies.
You had no standing at all.
I don't think the ladies in the office actually know that I did that. I think whoever signed for it signed for
Somebody
it, but
did. Somebody signed for it.
I know what that's what I'm saying, but whoever I talked to today didn't realize that because they was trying to rebuttal it or whatever, you know. So,
Trying to lie and say they didn't get it.
what would you say to someone afraid to challenge the system like you have?
Do it. Don't be scared. Do your due diligence and your research. You're not alone. You're not crazy. You're not helpless. If you need help, reach out to me. Learn trust law. You really need to study trust law. Learn who you actually are. Reclaim your name. Use your pen. File your notices. Stand in truth. You were born free, man. Let's act like it.
What is your final message, or what is your message to Judge Cline in the Lawrence County Court?
Boy. I would say something to Klein. My message is simple, man. Your dishonor is on the record. Your lack of oath of office, your refusal to respond, your unlawful rulings, they've all been documented. You've had every opportunity to answer with the truth and with the real law. You chose silence, retaliation, and I'm not here to argue anymore, man. I'm here to enforce my rights. I am the enforcer. I am here to enforce it and continue through my lawful process. Um, it's on. Like I'm putting liens out, federal claims, treasury demands, commercial remedy, and you no longer operate in secret. I'm letting the world know that we're watching, and your time of unaccountable power it's coming to an end, bud. You won't be a judge when I'm done with you.
Dude, the lady that I talked to today, she tried to refer me to my old lawyer back in 2020, and I was like, lady, I don't want a lawyer. I'm representing myself.
Why'd I
I
tell
thought that was disrespectful. Why would she refer me to the lawyer?
Because as soon as you get a lawyer, you can't argue 14 Amendment rights. Your first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, or 14th. As soon as you get a lawyer, you can't argue any of those rights.
Yeah, when I said
remember that.
I'm representing myself, she goes, oh, okay. Started to stutter.
Go figure. Yeah, they know what they're doing. They know the game.
Yeah.
They know
Well,
exactly
she was trying to
what they're
ask
doing,
me.
man.
She was trying to ask me a bunch of questions to try to skim me up, but it didn't work. Oh, so where do you go from here?
Oh, I keep going, man. I just keep filing. I keep exposing. I've got treasury demands in process, federal tort claims in process. I filed commercial liens that are perfected. I'm taking this to every level it needs to go, from the courthouse to the Supreme Court to the federal court. But more importantly, I'm helping others do the same if they want help. This isn't just about me. This is about 360 million Americans. So it takes people like me to stand up. This is about restoring a lawful society. This is about, not doing this in fear, not being scared to stand up. I'm doing this because I believe in something greater than a broken system that we have. We have a broken system, and I believe in the law of the land. I believe in God's law. So as long as I believe in God and He's my creator and He's He's God Almighty and He's my Father, and I'm gonna stand for it. I'm gonna stand up and fight these corrupt corporations that say they're courts when they're not real courts. In my faith, I'm going to stand with the full armor of lawful authority.
Yeah.
Plain and
Yeah,
simple.
I need you to send me that stuff about Cline though, so because I'm gonna blast him. I'm gonna blast his name on it.
I got you.
That's gonna be the title.
I got it all.
Judge Robert
I got it
Cline
all.
has no oath of office.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How is this still going? How is he allowed to still be? Like, how are they doing this?
Nobody knows their rights. Nobody's challenged it. Nobody's plugged in like I am with the Secretary of
But
State.
even
I
for
made
you
them
to
my
hit
best
up,
friend.
it was the AG that told you that he doesn't have an oath of office, right?
Ooh.
Who was it that
Secretary
told
of
you?
State.
So how does the Secretary of State know this and allowing this still?
Because the public officials have to file it with the Secretary of State.
But you said something about they started their own thing on Judge Cline, right?
I didn't hear you. You cut out.
I said before, you said that they started their own investigation on Judge Cline, right? Last time I thought you said that.
Yeah, I mean, the federal courts got them. Yeah.
They did do their
The
own. They're doing
AG,
their own separate thing.
listen, the attorney general is ahead over every public official in the state, but he isn't doing jack crap about this. Nothing. He is absolutely trying to railroad me too. That's why I took it to the Secretary of State. Now I'm taking it up to the Supreme Court and the federal court. Now it's in big boy court, real court, where Judge Kline's gonna have to sit on the defense side and
Yeah, so
listen to
Judge
me.
Cline is going to be in trouble eventually for all this. And does that mean
He
that
won't be a judge after I'm done.
at that point they have to go back and everybody that was sentenced under him will get what? Will they get compensated? Will they get released? How does that work?
He's going to be a broke son of a gun because once that happens, we get to go after him personally, not just through his official capacity. We get to hit him through his official capacity and his mind. Look, his car ain't safe. His wife ain't safe. His kids ain't safe. I'm gonna take them all. You know, like this
Well,
ain't no joke no
legally
more,
in
man. I'm
court,
taking your
don't.
property.
Yeah, you got to say what you mean when you say
Yeah,
that.
I'm suing him.
Yeah,
I'm
suing them.
suing
Yeah.
him. Suing you
So
for everything you got, Bubby.
it says it says Robert Cline announced Thursday's candidacy for Lawrence Superior Court. This was on January 3rd, 2020 or something when they made this report. Second, filing the vacancy when Judge William Sleever retires at the end of this year. It says Cline currently serves as Chief Deputy Prosecutor of Lawrence County. It says Cline pledges to be effective, efficient, and fair. Hang on, he stated something.
Hi, baby. That's my boy. Come here. You want to get on the camera? Come here. Let's get on the camera. See, that's my boy Kobe. He's been through it all with me. See, that's my boy Kobe. He's been through it all with Daddy.
It says Cline states, I took my first oath to support and defend the Constitution when I was just 17, and that oath is just as strong today.
That's because he's saying he was in the military taking an oath.
Yeah, but how can we find out? Will it not show us ourselves if we looked it up, if he has his oath of office or not?
You have to put a public request in. You put a public files request, and you put it in with the Secretary of State's election division because that's where they have to file it. They have to file it in the election division because these are elected public officials. And he was never elected. He just took over the spot. He never was elected, not once. Yeah, I mean, I'll give you the phone number if you want to call and make the. I'll give you the email. Y'all want to make a call and make the public request and find out yourself. So say
Yeah, give the number
20,000
so
people
people can do
invest to
that.
do it. All right, here, hang on.
Because
I'll give it to
people
you.
are going to question this. They're going to question the truth on
All
this.
right, so
So
if you want to make the public request, you will either call the phone number 317-232-3942, or you can email Matthew at mkochevar at iec.in.gov. So it's mkochevar at iec.in.gov. So it's
I feel
right
like
there.
these oaths of offices should just be open to the community anyway. I feel like we should. So you're saying they just sworn him in. He wasn't even. So we're supposed to vote our judges in.
They're elected public officials, yes.
So he wasn't even elected.
Every 6 years, they only get 6-year terms.
Yeah, it says the governor appoints a candidate to the Indiana Supreme Court from a list provided by a judicial nominating commission after at least 2 years on the court. A justice may stand in an opposed yes/no retention vote at the time of Indiana's next general election.
Yeah. And the thing is, listen, I've got an oath of office I've asked for Judge Andre's oath of office in Orange County. I've asked for Holly Huddleston's oath of office. She's a prosecutor in Orange County. They gave me both of them. I asked for Nathan Nykirk, which is a judge, the Lawrence County Circuit Court. He gave me that one. Stephen Owens, which is a circuit court judge in Orange County. He gave me that one. I asked for the prosecutor Samuel Arp here in Lawrence County. He gave me that one. I asked for Theodore Rokita, which is the Indiana Attorney General. I asked for his oath of office. He gave me that one. I've asked him 3 different times for Judge Cline. He don't have it. You guys don't believe me? Go check it out yourself. So if you've ever had a case adjudicated by Judge Cline, it's null and void.
It's
Plain and
just
simple.
crazy. I can't believe this is happening. If that's what's really happening.
Yeah,
I can't believe
they're trying to railroad me for it. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're onto it.
I got them hammered. I mean, I'm the man right now. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm the man. I've done a lot of research. 6 years of this shit's paying off.
Yeah, when will you start to see results from this? Do you know?
Very soon, baby. Very soon. I got every court in default now. I mean, I got them all in default and got them in federal court, so now they got to answer. They have to answer to the federal court now.
Why does it show this picture of him?
What's that? I mean, that's just him being sworn into a case or some kid or sworn in. Sworn in ain't oath of office, bud.
It says Cline beginning new role as Lawrence County Superior Court Judge, too. Sworn in isn't oath of office, though?
No, not even close. Not even close. And actually, there's a lot of these public officials that take an oath of office but never goes to the Secretary of State. It just stays within the court, which is an invalid oath of office. And they have to have an oath of office and a surety bond on file, not just one or the other. Like Judge Plummer, he's the same way. Every case that Judge Plummer has ever adjudicated is null and void because he don't have a bond on file with the Secretary of State. He has an oath of office, but don't have a bond. So every case in Lawrence County in the last 10 years basically have been null and void. Void ab initio.
They're going to freaking sue me when I post this episode. For defamation.
Hit me up hard, baby.
For defamation.
Ain't no defamation. It's just the truth, baby. It's just the
Yeah,
truth. That's
exactly.
it.
That's
We're
what I tell
exposing the
people. They're
truth.
like, I don't want to talk about it because, like, they'll ask to come on my podcast because they're dealing with civil rights violations. They're like, I don't want to talk about it, and they sue me. I'm like, they can't sue you when it's the truth. It's
I'm
not
suing them.
defamation.
Hell with
It's
y'all.
only
I'm suing you. I don't care.
It's only defamation if
it's
you're
a
lying.
lie.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. I think everybody in Indiana should. Most people don't care though. That's their problem until they're in this situation. I think
They don't
everybody
care
should
unless they're
really.
in trouble.
I mean, this is your community. You should care. This is what you're living in, you know? Just
So what we
because
could do, man, if I could get signatures started for anybody that's had a case with Judge Cline right now, ever, any in the last 4 years, if you've had a case with Judge Cline, let's start something and get everybody's signatures. That'll get your case cracked. If you're in prison right now, cracked. Everybody's sitting in prison right now and be getting out.
it says Robert Cline is currently a judge in Lawrence Superior Court 2 in Indiana. All Indiana judges upon taking office are required to take an oath of office, but it doesn't say he has taken it. It says,
oh, he hasn't. I know he hasn't.
It says Judge Robert Cline would have to taken a similar oath when assuming his role in Lawrence County Superior Court 2. The specific oath may not be fully available to the public.
Yeah, you have to make a public official oath request with the Secretary of State Election Division.
That concludes this episode. If y'all like this content, just hit that follow button so y'all can stay updated with more content that's to come. God bless.